Hello out there, ladies and gentlemen and everyone else. Happy Monday. I'm Joe.
And I'm Anna.
And this is the Part-Time Podcast. We normally have been podcasting on Tuesdays, but we wanted to podcast today just because we felt like doing one. Last week we were tooling with the idea of doing a coffee-themed episode, and today is not that episode. But we have a few things we want to talk about, and we have decided that in the future we're going to do a coffee-themed podcast and a Frasier-themed podcast, so stay tuned for that, folks. All right, first things first. How are you doing today, Anna?
I'm good.
Good? Just good?
Yeah.
All right, we had some coffee today. We are watching my niece's dog, which has been a lot of fun. So we were out with the dog getting coffee today, and that was great. A few things I want to talk about today. We'll go over this first, and then we'll talk about our week, and then we'll dive right into it. Sound good? Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the new Daniel Craig James Bond movies. I know it's really random, but we just had a marathon. And then the real thing we want to talk about today is Better Call Saul. We're going to talk about why it's great and our predictions for the second half of the last season.
The first episode drops tonight.
Yep, it has not premiered yet tonight.
Or well, it's the later half of the last season. They're doing these split seasons now. Yeah. I've noticed a lot of shows are doing that.
They did that with Breaking Bad.
Yeah, they did that with Breaking Bad. They did that with Stranger Things this year. They split it up. They did that with... I've noticed that a lot of shows are doing this like last season split up thing because Arrested Development did it too. And then there was another one that did it where they split it up. I can't remember. I don't know. But I feel like that's a common theme nowadays.
It's smart.
I like it.
It's sort of the same thing, but not exactly the same as the thing that shows are doing now where they're premiering every week, like on Disney Plus and stuff.
Which is really interesting because that used to be how they were, just put on TV, but then Netflix started just dropping whole entire seasons, but now they're back to dropping once a week, which is really weird. Because
they kind of figured out that you get a buzz going for a show as opposed to just dropping it and everybody watching it in a weekend and then not talking about it again. Now you can mull over it. But what sucks about... This is a little tangent, but what sucks about the Disney Plus shows is that there's it's like all sizzle, no steak. There's no substance to it. So there's no point in waiting week to week. But that's neither here nor there. All right. So what do you have going on this week, Anna? You've been crocheting a lot.
That's it, really. Yeah. I'm still unemployed.
Yeah.
So.
I think we talked about it last week, but I just want to say how, I really mean it, how awesome your bucket hats are.
Oh,
because you started making these bucket hats, and then you made one where you used two different kinds of stitching on it, and it looks awesome. You really look like you're out of I don't know what you would call hats like that were from the 1920s, but I don't know. Just it suits you very well.
They're really fit the head.
Yeah. It looks like it.
Close.
But it has a cool shape to it. It doesn't look like it's just molded around your head.
Yeah.
Okay. And me, I've just been working on 10 million things at once, as always. But, I don't know. I really just wish I could, vlog more or something, or have some kind of YouTube channel. But we'll get there when we can, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so much work.
Yeah, especially when you work a job.
Yeah, and I don't need, instant results or anything, or, a ton of people seeing anything. There's just, no time.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. Alrighty. So, what do you... first, we'll go over James Bond a little bit. I know this is random, but I think it's weird how the James Bond titles are so interchangeable half the time.
Yeah.
And they just seem like they made them up, a day before the movie came out.
Yeah. I don't know, some of them are good, some of them fit, tie in to the story, and they, they're, the names are, for, Spectre's a good example. It's, the name of, the bad, people.
The organization.
Bad organization. So that, makes sense, but then, the newest one, No Time to Die, I'm just stop. Like, what? It's just so annoying. It's literally like a kid said it, and they were like, "Oh, that's works."
Just stupid
I don't
with
know.
death. It's like,
yeah, there is no time to die. Like, yeah, we all know that.
yeah,
you know,
like, death is only your life or something. It's always something doesn't make any sense, but then they put some lofty song to it, and it's supposed to be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's the one with Javier Bardem? Is that Skyfall?
I don't know who that is.
The bad guy with the who like comes on as James Bond with the fake teeth.
That is.
Is it
Spectre,
even Javier Bardem or is it Benicio del Toro?
Oh wait, no, it
Spectre
is Skyfall. Skyfall.
See, that's a great
I really
title.
liked that one. That one was so good.
It was really good. It's probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
After Casino Royale, which I've seen so many times, but Skyfall was like phenomenal. It was like the right level of like, it wasn't really campy, but they had the James Bond villain that's got like his whole like setup and everything, and takes him to his island and he kind of toys with him. One thing I did notice though is that it did that thing that they do a lot in movies now, where the bad guy kind of wants to get captured.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That was really my only complaint, but it wasn't even a complaint. I just noticed it.
Yeah.
All right, but on to the main event, folks. And that main event is the talk of the town. Not really, because...
because we're the only people that watch it, I feel like.
I know it's a lot of fans, but everyone we know, I haven't talked to one person that's watched it.
Yeah, I don't
I had a few friends in Philly that watched it, and we talk about it, but I don't know anyone around here that watches it. And that, my friends, is Better Call Saul. And we want to talk a bit about this show if you haven't seen it, about why it's great, and then our predictions for the end of it. And Anna, you were saying earlier today that you almost enjoy it more, or you do enjoy it more than Breaking Bad, and why is that?
I do.
Why don't you talk a little bit about the show in a nutshell if someone didn't know what it was?
Well, it's hard because you have to watch Breaking Bad. If you don't, like, it's one of those shows where, like, if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, you're not going to understand literally anything that's going on. You're not going to understand it. You're not going to get it.
There's a lot of the show
You're not going to enjoy it. Like, it's just not, like, you have to. I'm pretty sure you're drinking my coffee, too.
Oh,
Anyway. But, like, Breaking Bad...
It's good coffee.
I mean, I feel like most of everybody has seen Breaking Bad, but Breaking Bad is just like a show about like drugs, basically.
Yeah.
A man making drugs and trying to make money to cure his cancer, but without, you know, his family knowing and stuff. But then it just ends up him being just obsessed with the power and the everything that goes with it.
About somebody who's less than, or like feels like, I don't know.
But
I will just say Breaking Bad is a show just about terrible people.
Yeah,
and they're all awful.
Everybody in there is awful, no matter what. Like, they all have something that's like not good.
Except for Walter Jr., I guess.
Yeah, he's our king. We love him. But so there's a lawyer in the show. He goes by Saul.
Mm-hmm. He's borderline cartoony.
Yes, he's very cartoony, very out there. He's very interesting, very mysterious. You don't really know where he's come from, where like how he fits in with this. Like, you know, he's very weird. He's very off.
He's like a scumbag lawyer who hooks up with these drug dealers just to make money.
Yeah, that's all he does. So he is a big part in, like, he helps all the people in the show, like, not get caught, not go to jail, and that, you know, he is directly involved with like most of everybody pretty much.
He knows how to manipulate the law.
Yeah, he's very, very good. So it kind of ends in Breaking Bad with him.
In Breaking Bad, it ends with him going in a witness protection program.
Yeah.
And there's a line in it, I don't know if you remember, but when he's about to get a new identity, he's in the safe house with the main character of Breaking Bad, and he goes, "Hey man," like Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, he still wants him to do more stuff, and he's like, "Hey, I'm done. I'm not a lawyer anymore." And he goes, "If I'm lucky, I'll be managing a Cinnabon in Omaha." Yeah. And it's just a throwaway line. But then in
So
Better Call Saul starts with him
so they
managing
do
a Cinnabon
this.
in Omaha.
They do this really cool thing. Well, first of all, the Better Call Saul is obviously about the lawyer.
Yeah.
It's all his backstory, everything from when he was starting being a lawyer,
How he became a
lawyer, everything. So they've been doing this thing over every single season where it will start with a black and white of him in the future working at the Cinnabon.
Mm-hmm. So after Breaking Bad.
After Breaking Bad, he's gone in the witness protection program, he's gone away, and he's working the Cinnabon. So each season starts with that black and white. And then the rest of the season, it goes all the way back. So it's kind of meeting in the middle almost as the season is coming to an end.
The show's a prequel, but it has flash forwards to after Breaking Bad.
It's really interesting. I think it's really neat.
Yeah.
So now we're on the last season, and the first part of the season didn't have a flashback
At all. It didn't have the flash forward.
or flash forward. At all.
It did have a sort of flash forward to a little bit after Breaking Bad time or during Breaking Bad time, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is where they showed, like you were saying about Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad, he's very mysterious.
Yes, he
In
is.
Breaking Bad, you don't see him outside of his lawyer
Shtick.
office. You don't see, he's always in character playing this lawyer. You don't know what he's actually like or anything.
No.
But in this last half a season of Better Call Saul, we saw his house and what that was like. And that was really
you see
interesting.
everything. You see all the way back to what his name actually is. His name
yeah.
isn't even Saul. Like, that's just a new persona
Yeah.
that he took on once he started dealing with criminals.
Yeah.
He put on this
He had
new
to take
persona.
a different name on because he's being this kind of lawyer that...
Yeah.
Oh, it's because... the show's a whole lot. He gets disbarred at one point.
He does,
so he goes by a different name to get customers for his cell phone business.
Yeah, for his cell phone. He was like
First he was making commercials.
he got work. He got a job at a cell phone store, and then he started selling what are they called?
Burner phones.
Burner phones, yeah, to
Prepaid cell
people.
phone.
Yeah. So, but then he starts working as a lawyer again for criminals.
He's
That's
practicing under the name Jimmy McGill because he already started building up his clientele.
Yeah. So.
But what I want to say is part of the thing that makes this show so great is that, like we just said, Breaking Bad they're all terrible people, which is fine. It's just that's what the show's about. But Better Call Saul is about these really good-hearted characters that you love.
Yeah. Well,
when I first heard that they were making a spinoff,
kinda isn't.
Well, it's about him getting corrupted, and there is part of him that's very good, and the brother just kind of makes it worse because it shows his family life and everything, and people kind of just treat him like they simultaneously are very nice to him because they like him because he's so charismatic, but they also kind of treat him like dirt.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of manipulative and sort of a liar sometimes.
He's also he's a con man, pretty much. Mm-hmm. He just ran scams and stuff all the time, growing up and stuff. So he is a con man.
Yeah, you're right.
He steals. He does a lot of bad things, but they make you love him. You feel bad for him. And he plays tricks on people. He's constantly conning people, and then he gets away with it, and you're like, yes. But it's that's a bad thing. He's not doing good things. He's not doing it for a good reason per se.
Well, sometimes he does.
Bad things happen because of the things that he does.
Yeah.
And he does because he doesn't think through them all the way.
But sometimes,
he does things for the good.
Everything that started with, he has a brother who's a lawyer, and he does something to bring down a case he's working on. It's this whole thing with when he changes the numbers.
Yeah,
but he does it for Kim, for a good reason, because he loves this girl.
Yeah, but he makes his brother think he is crazy.
Yeah, but he does it. He does it out of love for Kim. He has a lot of qualities of a good person. He's not necessarily that good of a person, but it's different than characters in Breaking Bad where everything they do is literally out of greed, like
Yeah.
self-preservation, I don't know, ego, like pride, and
It's
in
hard.
Better Call Saul, it's just like he, like Walter White probably could care less if he's a good person or not.
Yeah.
I don't think he really doesn't care. I think that Jimmy McGill probably thinks he's a good person. Towards the end of the show, you kind of see him lose his soul a little bit, but Jimmy really thinks he's a good person, and the show's about that, kind of getting beaten out of him to the point where he's really just like not very good at all.
Doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, he's not a good person. He doesn't care.
Well, he's also just so involved with like Lalo and them.
He gets involved with the mob and the cartel.
Yeah, he gets heavily involved in the cartel, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I think unfortunately he's dug a hole for himself at this point.
It's just weird how when I first heard that there was gonna be a Saul spinoff and a prequel, it just sounded like not a very good idea. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be so cartoony and dumb. I like how his character's mysterious, but there was a huge advantage to doing a prequel because they knew where the character was going to end up, but they just had to show him sort of where he started from, which gave him a lot of room to grow and breathe and really flesh out the character in a way that they didn't really have They sort of had characters fleshed out in Breaking Bad, but not like this. It's just different. It's more of a character study than Breaking Bad, which sounds crazy, but...
And I mean, Bob Odenkirk's so good
as
Saul. He's so good.
It's just so funny because
you never watch Mr. Show or anything,
and like he used to be on Tim and Eric, and like he popped up in all the sketch comedy and everything, and like actually how great he is in the role.
He's so interesting.
We haven't even talked about. There's another character in the show named Nacho that is just this kind of random gangster guy, and like. You get so invested in his character by the end of it.
He's like one of my favorite characters on there, if I'm being honest. But...
There's been so much,
and he's such a bad guy too. Like he's so bad.
He's
like
terrible.
He just like kills people and like it's just like whatever. Like, but he also you feel bad for him.
Yeah,
like
he feels bad for his dad.
He does.
But it's like he put himself in this situation.
Yeah, his dad owns like a interior.
And it's an upholstery place.
Yeah, and. The cartel wanted to like run drugs through it or something, and he was like, no, you can't. But I mean, he had no choice really, or something.
He's involved with the Salamanca family from Breaking Bad, and was directly involved with Tio Salamanca getting put in the wheelchair, which is awesome. And like this is another thing I hate when like a prequel or something explains every little thing about a character, but it just works in the show. It works,
and it's
because they take their time with it, and it's so good.
Well, I think it's also just like weird that he's like in that wheelchair and he's got that bell, and you're like he can't talk. You're just like.
Yeah.
What's going on with him? Like it's so weird that you're like, I need an answer to this. Like I don't know. If it was just some random person just like in a wheelchair and they were just like whatever, it would be like whatever. Yeah. But like he has this bell and he communicates with this bell and it's just so like interesting. I don't know. It's really neat.
And they reveal in the show that he had this massive stroke that was like meticulously kind of planned out by Nacho's character, and Gus Fring pays for his treatment that brings him out of a coma and starts healing him from a stroke, but he only pays for the treatment up until a point where he can tell that mentally he's there again, and then he stops like paying for the treatment. Yeah. So now he's stuck in like this semi-vegetative state. It's amazing. It's messed up. When I realized I really loved the show and thought it was fantastic was early on when Mike, the disappearer guy from Breaking Bad, Saul's like muscle guy that also works at Gus Fring, is a major character in Better Call Saul, and I'm like, why are they putting him in the show? Like he's becomes like the other main character. It's basically about Saul Goodman and Mike Ehrmantraut, and I'm like. But his character was so good. I don't want his backstory. I want it to be a mystery. I love it.
It's a good backstory.
But they go into his backstory, and it is so great. It's just a testament to the writing. And basically, in Breaking Bad, Mike Ehrmantraut is like this disappear muscle guy for the crooked lawyer.
20 minutes.
Yeah, he's the muscle for this crooked lawyer, and they at one point kind of hint that he was a cop at one point, and it's really interesting. You're like, oh, he's this cop that went bad at one point. That's interesting. And they actually reveal the backstory in Better Call Saul, and it is so much cooler than I could have imagined, and so awesome.
It's cooler than him just
it's
being
interesting.
a cop.
No, it's so interesting, because I just assumed he was a cop that went bad. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to see the story of how he went bad. But then when they explain it, he wasn't a cop that went bad. He was a crooked cop.
Yeah.
That was bad the whole time. And he had a son that looked up to him and idolized him and also became a cop. And the son refused to be corrupted and wouldn't be a crooked cop, even though Mike was trying to convince him that he had to take bribes and be a shitty cop and all this stuff. And then because the son wouldn't take a bribe, got offed by these two other cops, and it like broke Mike as a person. Yeah. And that is so interesting. And
then he went and
he knocked off the cops and then moved, and that was the start of his whole thing. And so he's kind of listless and really doesn't have much going on except for taking care of his daughter-in-law and his granddaughter now. Yeah. And he sort of just falls into this life, and it's so good. Like, I want to think that they kind of just fell into that story. It's so good. Yeah. They couldn't have planned it that well. I think they kind of just slipped into it. It's so fantastic, though. So I think we kind of touched on why we think it's great and why it's phenomenal, and you should check it out. So this is the last half of the season, of the final season. What kind of predictions do you have, Anna?
Well, first of all...
Well, let's start with a few bullet points we put down here. Okay. We got the Jean storyline, Kim, who's another character on the show we didn't touch on, who is Saul's girlfriend.
God, she's amazing.
She's starting to get corrupted.
Yeah,
but she's amazing.
To do bad things. But they flash back to her being a kid, and she's always kind of been off.
Yeah.
So
I would say that Saul is a bad guy who tries to do good things, and I would say that Kim is a good person who sometimes does bad things.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. I think.
So, what do you think's going to happen to Kim? She was a really high paid lawyer. She left that. She was now a solo practitioner, and the last time we saw them,
Lalo came in.
And a not coworker. What would you call it? A peer of theirs, another lawyer who they know.
Was there
because he got involved with them, and then one of the gangsters shoots the lawyer in front of them, and they were directly responsible for the lawyer being there.
Yeah, so it's kind of their fault.
Yeah,
pretty much. They're directly responsible for both of those people being there at that time. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, they're kind of at fault for this, and I'm really interested to see what they do with the lawyer. What's his name? Hamlin McGill.
Oh, I can't wait for the episode tonight. God, this is
I know.
so nerdy. I'm just excited.
What's his name?
Howard Hamlin.
Howard Hamlin.
Yeah,
there we
this
go.
lawyer Howard Hamlin gets murdered in their apartment.
Yeah,
now
very
this
jarring
brings up
I did not expect that to happen at all. That was an amazing scene.
This brings up a million questions, because in a show like Breaking Bad, they would just dispose of the body and it'd be no problem. But this is just a show literally about two lawyers, and now someone that they know has just gotten killed in their apartment.
For no reason, really. I mean, there was literally no motive behind it at all. It's just Lalo came in and was like, all right, you gotta go.
Yeah, because he didn't care, because he's like a mob guy, but they're not in that life yet. They're just these two lawyers in their apartment. Well, someone got killed there.
Saul is,
but he wouldn't just
life. But also Kim knows. Kim knows about all of it. So they are involved. It's just
I just mean it's a lot. It just brings up so many questions. What did they do with the body? Did Did they say that? Did they tell people he was there and he left town? Did they say they don't know what happened to him?
I mean, his car's there.
Yeah,
too.
that's
so
it.
like
So
I don't even
have to
know
get rid of the
like
car. They're gonna
what...
get rid of the body, and then does Kim keep practicing being a lawyer after this? Like I don't
think so.
I think Saul can go back to doing whatever he wants, no problem.
But Kim can't.
Yeah, I don't. I think she's going to be so shaken by this that she won't be able to do it.
Yeah, I think she's going to have to leave.
At best, I think she would stay and help out Saul.
Yeah.
Like, be like the woman behind all his lawyering, but she might just bounce.
Yeah, I think she's going to bounce because that's too much.
Yeah.
That's way too much. And they were like, her and Howard were kind of like buds at one point. Like, they were buds, and then they like fell off because of Saul, but like, I don't know.
What do you think is going to happen with the Gene storyline? The flash forward.
I don't know. The last time we saw, he was going to relocate again. Mm-hmm. He has diamonds. He has a whole bag of diamonds, we saw. Like a lot of diamonds.
Yeah.
And he still had that black book.
Mm-hmm.
And so he called, but then he said that he was caught. Somebody saw him, but then he hung up and said that he's going to take care of it himself.
Yeah.
So does that mean he's going to go kill this guy? Like, I don't know what else that could mean. Like, I don't know what else he could do. Like, how would he take care of it? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. He could kind of threaten him, because it's he's sort of like a beaten down, scared person at this point.
We're at the point now, like, this is like all the way in the future. We're at the point now where like no mistakes can be made.
Yeah.
Nothing. He can't just go up to this guy and say, "You better not say anything or I'll kill you." Like,
yeah.
He's gonna have to kill him. He's gonna have to off him. Like, he can't have any, like, if anybody knows where he's at, like, he's done. Like,
yeah.
He can't, I don't know. So I'm interested to see what happens there. And
I have no idea.
I'm also interested to see how many of these black and white episodes are we going to get. Is it going to be the first episode, all of it? Mm-hmm. Or is it going to be multiple episodes? Is it going to be, because they didn't have one in the first half of the episode. Yeah. So I'm just interested to see if maybe half of this last season is going to be that, or if it jumps back and forth.
Oh, that'd be like every episode?
Yeah, maybe every episode will have a black and white and then another, in the,
maybe just a little bit, a little bit in the because every season had at least one. I think some seasons had a couple, had at least one of the black and white scenes, the flash forward, and this last season didn't have any of it. So they're like really big time on social media. They're posting like a lot of like Cinnabon black and white stuff. So like you have to resolve the story. So like you're saying, like how do you do that? You don't put. There couldn't just be a clip in the first episode to resolve the whole story. That'd be just weird. I
definitely feel like they're going to go back and forth because I feel like at the very, very end they've got to have something there too. Like they've got to do the. I mean, it might end with the black and white scene.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You don't know.
You either do it. You either make it really epic and have it one thing at the end. You wouldn't make it epic and put it in the first episode, or in the middle of the. Like 2 episodes in, you might do a little in the beginning and then some at the end, or just some at the end. So that's going to be interesting. But we were also saying that the very end of the show would probably end up where we first see him in Breaking Bad, which brings me up to my next point. When the characters in Breaking Bad, Walt and Jesse, are going to show up in Better Call Saul.
Yes,
because it's confirmed that they're in it.
It was, they actually, before they even this first episode of this last season came out, they confirmed that they were in this last season. So, but we didn't know when. We thought it was going to be this first half of the season, but we haven't seen them at all. So,
did you watch that clip? Did I show you of them, Bryan Cranston talking about them filming it?
No.
In the middle of the night, they sent them out to, where's it, Albuquerque? Yeah. They sent them out to Albuquerque in secret in the middle of the night, and they went and stayed at this Airbnb with, like, no contact with anyone.
That's
just
crazy.
Them in this Airbnb together, like, ordering food, and then shot, this is like a year ago, and then shot their scenes for Better Call Saul.
That's amazing.
But it just is so crazy. So we were talking a lot about where they would show up because the interactions with the lawyer, like we were saying before, the lawyer is very secretive and seems like he's so cartoony that he seems like he'd be just putting a face on for his clients and everything. So you never really see the real him. So the interactions are very brief whenever we see him in Breaking Bad. So pretty much all the interactions with the characters from Breaking Bad and Saul, you kind of have probably seen already.
Yeah.
So it brings up the question, where would these characters show up in Better Call Saul? Are you showing just another scene from Breaking Bad that we didn't see yet? Is it the first time they met because we already saw that? Like, what would it be? Is it... Because before Breaking Bad, Walter White is just a teacher, and Jesse is just like a student, and why would Saul be involved with them at all?
You never know.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
So it may lead up to, like, the first time they meet, or maybe there's a first, like, official meeting that they all have together as, like, lawyer and client that we didn't really see yet.
True.
All right, what else do you think is going to happen in the new season?
I don't know. That's all I think.
What else do you think would happen with Howard? Like, he's the head of this major law firm that now he's just gone.
Yeah, that's like a whole other added element that I wasn't even thinking about before I saw that last episode. I was like, oh my god, how are they gonna, like, what's gonna happen between Kim and Jimmy? I was like, they don't end up together, so what's going on? And then they literally kill Howard. I'm like, I'm like, this is a whole other thing that we weren't expecting, so it kind of changes everything, if we're being honest. Like, it literally changes so much.
Yeah. Like we thought Kim was going to get shot.
I thought Kim might be donezo, but I really don't think so. I think she, calls for a vacuum.
Yeah. In Breaking Bad, there is a character who gives people new identities and everything, and the way you get in contact with him is you call this vacuum place.
Oh, that actor's dead. I forgot.
Yeah, Robert
really
Forster, he passed away. He was really sick when they filmed El Camino.
Yeah.
But he was
That's
great.
really sad.
Yeah, and they actually filmed a scene for Better Call Saul for that.
Did they really?
Yep. While they were doing El Camino, they were like, hey, we have this scene in Better Call Saul. Would you like to do it? And he's like, sure.
But they can't use him anymore, so I wonder what they did.
Well,
they use, like, voice something. I don't know.
Well, they could... In Breaking Bad, you never really saw him till the very end. They called him on the phone numerous times. You could just call him and they could just not show him on the phone.
Yeah, they could just not.
But he also called him and said, hey, never mind, and hung up. And the way that guy works, I don't think you could just call him up constantly and be like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
He would probably be like, I'm never dealing with you again. Because he's so off-grid.
I don't know. It's weird.
And, like, I'm still just, like, trying to think of what Gene might do, like, in the flash forward.
Okay, so it's very weird. These flash forwards are very weird because there was that one time where he passed out.
Yeah.
Which was very weird.
Which is how he met this guy in the first place. He was the cab driver that took him home from the hospital.
Yeah, so it's very weird. Like, you don't really get a lot from these Gene episodes, and I think they do that on purpose.
Yeah, he's just scared, and he's living hidden away, working at the Cinnabon, and he's like a shell of his former self.
Yeah.
And which makes me think, like, does he want to go out in a blaze of glory to just, like,
maybe
feel like his old self again, and, like, not care if the police show up and he gets caught, if he, like, takes care of this guy, or is he going to figure out a way?
Crazy if that's how it ended, him just getting arrested.
Yeah.
And just being done.
But he was never, like, he's not a Walter White type character where he's driven by, like ego or whatever. He just, like, wanted to make money.
Yeah. And he just loves Kim.
Yeah.
He loves Kim so much.
Oh, the other thing is, there's another flash forward in the last season of Better Call Saul where it's not after Breaking Bad, but during Breaking Bad, like when they first when he's first leaving being a lawyer because they're about to get caught, and he talks to his assistant, Francesca, about calling another lawyer or something.
Yeah.
And he says to her, tell him Jimmy sent you.
Tell her Jimmy sent you.
Yeah.
He says her.
Yeah.
He's talking about a woman that
So,
he's giving his card to her.
Yeah. So he could be talking about Kim, but his assistant
don't know,
knows who Kim is. But if Kim's in the witness protection program or something, but Jimmy knows about it, he could still be saving her identity.
Exactly.
And there's I think in that same scene, he talks about how Francesca is going to meet him somewhere with a package or something at some point. Remember?
No, I don't remember a lot of little details. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I watch this stuff a lot and can remember it very well.
I know.
It's when he's like, he gets his money out and everything, he's leaving, he says the thing, like, gives his card and says, hey, you can call this lawyer, whatever, tell him Jimmy sent you, and then is like, gives her money or something, like some little package, and says, where are you going to meet me? And then I'll be there, blah, blah, blah. But that's a whole nother thing to put into these flash forwards. Him, like, taking a trip to go somewhere else. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, we're very excited. We can't recommend the show enough. It's funny. It's incredibly well shot. It's, I don't know, edge of your seat without being too, like, I don't know, overwhelming.
Gives me anxiety, though.
It did. Me too.
I'm just really into it that I just want to watch it. So
yeah, and they
just do a lot of bad things. Yeah. I get anxious when people do bad things. I don't like it.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for today. I think we're good. The rest of the week, we just have a lot of crafting and, I don't know, dogging going on.
Dog sitting.
And that's it. Well, this has been the Part-Time Podcast. You guys have a good week. And Anna, what do we always say at the end? Take it away.
I don't know. We don't say anything.
I just don't remember. You're good at this.
What do we usually say? No, I'm not. You're good at it.
All right. It's been a good podcast. Have a good week.